I didn't speak about the Holocaust for about 60 years, never spoke about it. I decided to talk now because I saw a vision. Someone come to me and told me, you must go and speak about it. You're a survivor. You should go and speak about it. But I took it so much to heart that I go speak in schools, I prefer, because they're the new generation. And I tell them as well, I said, you're the new generations, and I want to speak to you. And in the spring of 1944, it was the final solution. First of all, they took my father. They took my father, and I remember I was on the street with my mum when they took him because they cut his beard off, they made fun of him. And my mother started crying, and she said, you know what, I bet you're not going to see you again. And my father said, no, God will be there, don't worry. And because she cried, I cried with her. I was very close to my mum. So that's the last time I saw my father. Although they told me they're going to take him to the Russian front and they're going to dig trenches. And I thought, well, it's only 1 year. He was only 34 years old. It's nothing wrong to work or something, you know, that's what I thought. So I didn't take any notice. But after the war, I found out my father never went to Russia. They took him straight to Auschwitz in the gas chambers. So we got to the ghetto, and the idea was, which I didn't know at the time, was it's like, you know, herd. They want to collect the herd all over the place. They wanted to collect from all the Panthers, from all the small villages, all the Jews into one place. So when the transport came, they're all there, easy to take. That was the idea. So that's what the ghetto was. That's why it was all in the ghetto, with us anyway. We went. So when we got to it was 4 kilometers where the trains were. And when we got there, we noticed that these are freight wagons and they're not no trains. And then, and the reason for that is they could put in, where they're supposed to put not more than 70, because they had a load of people, they put in actually 110. We couldn't even move in, there was like sardines in there. And they only gave us 1 bucket. And they gave us 1 bucket to drink. Didn't last a half a day. And we were in there for nearly 3 days, and I tell you what, the smell and everything knocked us all out. It was the children, my brothers, they were crying, want to go home. It was terrible, you know. But we had no choice because we were blocked in from outside with padlocks, you know, outside as well. How are we going to get out? So anyway, actually after 3 days we arrived in Vienna, and the Austrian police came up. And as they opened the doors, they told us, anybody who's got jewelry can have bread and water. So my mother says, well, we haven't got any jewelry. We didn't actually. So I said, but I've got a wedding ring and you're welcome to have it. So she gave the wedding ring and did get some water. Not much, but we got some bread as well. So then about a couple of hours later, they closed the doors again and off we went. And I remember correctly, as we moved off, I don't know, a man behind me, he was saying, you know what, we're not going to Germany because this train goes east. But it didn't make any sense to me anyway. But what's east? What is east? I didn't know. So we did go east. We ended up actually in Auschwitz-Birkenau. They told us, you must leave all the luggage by the train. You're not allowed to take it with you, even handbags, everything got to leave there. And so just yourself. And we're going to go have a shower. And everybody was happy because being so long in the trains and a few days and so on, they were happy to go and have a shower. Well, they didn't know what the shower was. You lost your name now. They said no name, only numbers. So now I've got a number which was A8230, 8230. So I put the Bible with the cross in there. So it was all gone. My shoes were gone, my clothes was gone, and all there was is now a pair of striped pajamas. That's all there was. I took the Bockenwagen, and there were 7 people in one bed. It wasn't very wide either. And you imagine how we couldn't sleep at all. It was terrible. Anyway, no chance. We can't complain, so we just carried on. There was 400 calories a day, and you've got to work 12 hours a day. So a lot of people were starved. They couldn't do it, and there was deaths all the time. Even the ones who were saved died. A load of them died. I was very lucky. I managed to survive. I thought my family is going to be somewhere. They told us they're going to go to Germany. They're going to work. So I went to look for them. And the guy said, well, what do you mean to look for them? He says, when did you arrive? I said, yesterday afternoon. He says, 3 hours later, they were already all gone. You know, they were all dead. I couldn't believe it. I was liberated, and it was, never forget the day. It's my second birthday, actually. I was in, it was February, not February, April, 23rd of April it was when I was liberated. I heard that all the guards have left. We were in the forest, so I've hidden in a foxhole, you know. And then all of a sudden this guy comes up to me, the Tommy guy, and he says to me, "Are you Jewish?" I hesitated, and I said, "Yeah, I'm Jewish." And he says, "Shalom." He says, "I'm also Jewish." I said, "Why, you're German? You're Jewish German?" He said, "No." He says, "I'm from New York." He says, I'm a sergeant. And he looked at me, he cried, I cried, we both cried together. I couldn't believe I ever believed, I hoped, I never believed I would ever be liberated. They said that anybody who is under 16 could go to England. So I volunteered. You know, it happens to be just under 16. And that's how, so in November, I left for England. They took away my clothes, they took away my name, they took away my house, they took away everything I possessed. What do they want from me? I got nothing to give. You know what? If they want my soul, they're not going to get it. And that's the other thing. Those are that made me survive. I can see these nasty things which happened when I was there. It's coming up again. Even though it's only 1%, they say. I mean, Hitler only had 1%. That's all he had. But it grew and grew if you let them grow. And this is happening exactly again. I said, you know what? You haven't been through it. I've been through it. And believe me, you know, I go through it and it's, I know I wouldn't like to happen again, believe me. I wouldn't like to happen to anybody. You know, we should live together in harmony. We should live as one people. After all, we're all human beings in the end.